Hola, bom dia. Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show. It may seem quiet at the moment. If I pause for a moment, you may hear the birds singing or a bee buzzing. I can hear a bee buzzing. However, that is a rather misleading picture to paint this morning, because we have Andy the Doc, who was meant to be here yesterday on Ask Anything About Portugal, his regular residency. He made way for the climate change debate. Dougie the Denier and Climate Claire were with us yesterday. And also at this end, any minute now, Raphael, the Mayo man, is going to be coming in and doing an installation. And talking to him on the phone, he does sound rather a handsome, sexy chap. So that might be a bit of a sort of Diet Coke break going on behind me in the office as I speak. And not least, live now from Lyria with his guide, and Leona's guide, it has to be said, to Leiria, Andy the Doc. Let's open up the mics to the beautiful atmosphere of a Portuguese cafe and go and find him in the town the city we're talking about. Live now from a cafe in Lyria, it's Andy the Doc Thomson.
Hola, bom dia, alegria de Lyria.
Have you been practicing that?
No, not at all. My pronunciation is getting better.
Very, very good. No, I meant practicing that for your opening gambit on the show this morning. Still licking I'm near the town of Torrada. Still licking Torrada from your lips there, I think. Having breakfast this morning, Doc.
I am. I'm having breakfast in our local bar. I had a good toaster, and I'm now having my second coffee and a pastel de nata.
Very good.
As one does, I can probably get you a picture of that. Actually, where are we?
That'd be great. That'd be great. So authentic atmosphere in Portuguese.
Okay. One minute. We've got a welcome to the cafe. 1 minute. There's my pastel de nata. But let me.
It's so authentic. So authentic.
And here we are.
Nice.
Yes.
Bem-vindo ao Café da Aula.
Hola, bom dia. Tudo bem?
You're live on YouTube and Facebook.
Ainda vai ter tudo máscara.
She's saying she's glad to be having a mask on today for her anonymity.
Well, no, I mean, they're very good here, very compliant with the rules.
Yes.
But what I was saying was, this is our local bar.
Well, that's our first freeze of the day. Are we back? There he goes. He's back now.
Sorry?
And he's gone again.
Oh, you're okay. So,
go on. He dropped out.
Okay. I was just saying this is not the best decorated bar, and it doesn't have the best range of cakes, but it is a local bar with a local atmosphere, a crowd of people, incredible prices, lovely people, and we walked in today for the first time in 2 weeks, and we were told we had been missed. It's absolutely beautiful.
We were upset.
Oh, how lovely. There's the coffee being made. Oh, and I need. We'll be hearing coffee being made, I think, throughout the show this morning. Doc, can you just fill in for me while I plug my laptop in before my power goes?
Yeah, of course. So I'm not sure how much you heard of that, but this is a lovely local bar with a local experience rather than a commercial coffee shop. And we've been missed, we were told when we walked in today. So that was great. And what I'm going to do this morning, when Carl comes back, and if he doesn't come back, I'll do the whole thing. Here we go. Thanks, Carl. I was just about to say what I'm going to do this morning.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I was saying thank you. That was very brave of you.
No,
Just
that's
to
all
be
right.
in the wheels of the car. Yeah.
No problem. So, so I was just about to say that what I'm going to do this morning is just give an introduction to Lyria, just to whet the appetite, as it were, for this beautiful, beautiful town in central Portugal.
Superb. Okay, so let's say a few good mornings before we get underway with that. Jordinja was here very early this morning. Bom dia a todos de Inglaterra Noreste. Hola, Jordinja. Oh, from me, that was my message I'm reading out to you, so you get to be greeted twice this morning, Jordinja. Bon dia to you and the EP gang. We are the EP gang here. Bon dia from Joel as well. I wonder, Joel, it's very interesting when you talk. All right, it's very interesting when you talk to Portuguese people. Whether they've been to particular other cities in Portugal. Have you been to Leiria, Joel, and what do you think? What do the Portuguese people think and celebrate Leiria for? Hola, bon dia, alegria from a deep Hampshire this morning. Oh, damp Hampshire. Damp and deep Hampshire this morning. Needs some Portugal warmth and sun. Well, we'll see if we might be able to get a picture out the window of the cafe for you at some stage. We don't want to affect the setup too much, though. Bon dia from Stephen Wells this morning. Beaters 22 is here. Bon dia, alegria. I'm trying to remember what your French name was. You've got a French nickname, haven't you, Beaters? Morning, Carl from Sandy Green. Sandy Green's here as well. Dominic Core here also this morning. And from a wet Pavot de Vargem, getting some Atlantic dampness there this morning. Mark Rigby is here. And yes, we're hearing coffee being made, Joel. Do you need a hammer for the morning coffee, Doc? If coffee is so strong, it has to be hammered into the cup. Hola, bon dia from Louise this morning, from Solo 50 Plus Expat Portugal, from the Silver Coast. Jacqueline, when are we going to have a coffee? And you can show me some of the treats of this place, of the Silver Coast here that I don't already know about. Or maybe you come on the show like Doc's doing this morning. Good morning to you, Jacqueline. Paul from the Circus School. Good morning, Carl and Andy. And of course, Leona, whose voice you will hear from beyond. I'm still in bed. You have inspired me to get up and make tea. Well, that's good. We are obviously helping people in various ways around the world this morning, including getting out of bed and staying in bed but enjoying a cup of tea. Hola, Doc. Tudo bem? Looking forward to hearing about Leiria from Jordinja. You need to turn down the TV, Doc. What's on the telly at the moment? Are you watching Sick or? I know you're watching me as well, but what?
So the news in the cafe, we've got pictures from what's the place? From Fatima, where the celebrations of the is it the Ascension Day today? And we've had some football scores.
Sporting still celebrating. Yeah, important stuff. And the pilgrims are out in force on Sunday, obviously on their way to Fatima for that particular celebration. Just moved from the Silver Coast and didn't properly visit Leiria. The mayor will be on to you about that, and you must come back to do that, Louise. Van der, you see that? Bearders 22, Van der. It's a French joke there this morning. Morning, Andy from Sandy.
Morning.
That's three. Let's count the coffees. That's three. That's three so far this morning. Never stopped in Lyria. The nearest I've been, they're not all from the dock. The nearest I've been there was Agada. That's miles away, Joel. Even I know that. Morning, Carl from Sean Maguire. And breaking news. Check this out. Brittany Ferries potentially launching a Plymouth to Porto service. Wow. That sounds exciting. Yeah, and that's going to be quite a long voyage, isn't it? It's probably going to be 36-hour trip, maybe?
It's going to be 30 hours, Carl, no longer than Santander, and it'll cut out the drive. So, people visiting us, instead of arriving in Santander in the evening and having to spend an overnight in Spain and then a long drive, can come into Porto, drive 2 hours and be with us. It's a fantastic 2.5
Great
hours.
idea, isn't it? Yep, great. Great idea. 30 hours, says Bearders on that. Cirilla, I'm going to have to get some glasses at some point. De Silva, bon dia from Dubai. And that is super news. says Max Flight about the ferry. Not a lot longer than Santander there. Fantastic. The new Galicia ferry takes 33 hours to Santander. They are also, a lot of people are excited about this and how nice it will be to chug into Porto when you arrive. They're also exploring Portsmouth to Porto instead. And 1,000 kilometers from Algarve to Santander. Just 600 to, and then he disappears for a moment. Max Fly, to Porto. Chuffed. That's your ferry coming into Porto. That's going to be so exciting. Morning. This is serendipitous. Guess where I am? Leiria. I wonder. Or outside my front door. I don't know, Will. You're going to have to answer that question. Let us know and stop being a man of mystery. No, you'll never stop being a man of mystery. Right. So should we get into the intro to Leiria, Andy?
Sure. I'm just going to send you a photo from outside the cafe that Leona just took for you. Do you want it to your carlmunson.com or expatsportugal.com?
Carl at carlmunson.com for anyone who wants to get in touch with me.
Okay. So that's on its way to you now. So while that's making its way, let's get into this. Yeah. So Lyria is a lovely town in central Portugal. Well, city in central Portugal, a proper city. The definition of which in the UK is that it has a cathedral, which it does. And that is a picture of the central area at night with the castle on the top right, all lit up. That was a nice evening photo. Yeah. So let's go to the next slide.
Okay, on to the next slide. Forgive me. There we go.
There we are. So a bit of history for you. Another view of the castle at night. So Leiria started as the Roman town of Calippo, some 7 kilometers south of here. But the actual Leiria proper was captured by the Moors early in the 8th century. King Afonso, the first king of Portugal, recaptured it in the 11th century and established it as an outpost south of the River Mondego, where Coimbra, his first capital, lies. And he built this magnificent castle as an outpost, really, on their march south to reconquer the rest of Portugal. And built this fantastic castle which dominates the skyline. And although the capital was Coimbra, the monarchs' wives and the monarchs often lived in Leiria because of the beautiful castle here. It was then transformed into a palace and then a monastery.
Wow. The other night, I think I don't remember the time of day, but what I was staggered by is seeing the castle and the football ground quite close to each other from different parts of history. But you get an amazing view, don't you? Is it from the A1?
Yes, you do. And we see that fantastic view of the castle and the stadium beside it from our apartment, from our balcony. It's just superb.
Yes. Bit of history coming back to us. It's because the taxes were lower. The Moors were accepted, in inverted commas, from Max Flight there. Do you two know why the locals didn't complain too much about the Moors compared to the previous administration? Oh, that was the answer to that question there. Bon dia, todos. Back in the 1970s, there was the Eagle ferry that went from Plymouth to Lisbon. There is some speculation as to whether this ferry will resume again, hopefully with a newer ferry. Yeah, it's always nice when they're not too rusty, right? Come on, Doc.
I think they ought to start a mini cruise from Portsmouth or Plymouth to Porto, then to Lisbon, then to Portimao, then Gibraltar, and then back. It'd be a fantastic.
Wouldn't it just? And then we could have a residency on that. That'd be pretty amazing. Bon dia todos. I still work clear of ferries. They have a lot of recycling. They have a habit of recycling my breakfast. I mean to say that. I'm sorry to hear that, Ian. So planes, trains, and automobiles. I mean, the train journey's got to be done at some point. That's going to be amazing, isn't it? The whatchamacallit train. Completely escapes me the name of the train from St Pancras King's Cross through to Paris and France. There, Eurostar. The Eurostar, of course. and then onward with the Eurostar to Lisbon must be a fabulous journey to make. Yes, the taxes were lower, so the Moors were accepted, says Max. Obviously, a bit of a history aficionado as well. Leiria is a beautiful city and more affordable than Coimbra, right? Do you want to answer that now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Coimbra is not expensive, but it suffers from being the third or fourth biggest town in city in Portugal, depending on whose version you accept. And Leiria is considerably smaller, with only 150,000 people in the whole municipality. Only 50-odd thousand in the urban area itself.
It looks stunning, says Neil. Thank you for the information. Apologies if it's not appropriate to ask this here. Oh my goodness, what's this going to be? But your opinions would be very welcome. Oh, is it likely that, I thought it was going to be a very personal question. Is it likely that visitors, or rude, is it likely that visitors from the UK will be allowed into Portugal by 21st of May? I think it's from the 17th that we're looking forward to people moving between the two countries. Is that right?
I think the UK has said yes, but has Portugal officially changed the rules yet? I'm not sure if they have or not, but I'm absolutely certain that they will. They need the tourist euro. Now that the UK has opened up the pathway and Portugal welcomed that, I think there has to be the ability to enter. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. A couple more comments and onward with the presentation. All the Brittany ferries fleet are good. Pont-Aven is especially comfortable. I think most of us have probably been on that, haven't we? And we've got our favourite part of the boat. Yes, was looking at Leiria, Tamar, Coimbra, would like some suggestions. So, Cyrilla, other suggestions will come, but obviously, from the dockets, Leiria. No, Carl, that was a pingo. Oh, is that a kind of coffee? So actually, this is amazing. Joel is such a keen coffee aficionado and a truly Portuguese man that he can tell what coffee is being made from the sounds he's hearing. Leiria town is a lovely place. Lots of little cobbled back streets with plenty of restaurants and shops with a great theatre. Well worth a few visits, says people.
Two theatres.
Two theatres. There you go. Bon dia, Alegria from California, from Virginia Larson. And we will come back to more of your comments and questions. Let's move on, shall we, Doc, to the next slide here.
Yeah, so let me just say, in terms of Tomar, Coimbra or Leiria, and I'll tell you why I would choose Leiria. Coimbra, as I've already said, much larger, more expensive. Tomar, very much a tourist magnet, and so gets busy with tourists and would also suffer from the price hike as a result. Leiria at the moment is not on the tourist map, but it is within striking distance. Tomar is only half an hour away, max by car. Coimbra an hour away, so I would always choose Leiria, having found it by accident last year.
And how did you find it by accident?
Oh, how did I find it by accident? Well, I was based in Coimbra on and off, and but when Leona and I got together, we had to look for schooling for her 14-year-old daughter. Not the best time to start learning another language when you're starting your GCSEs. So we had to look for an international English school, and there is one within a quarter of an hour of Lyria in a place called Marina, Grande, halfway between here and the sea. So she goes to school there, and we moved to Lyria.
Yeah. Okay. So you made the choice on account of schooling, which a lot of people will do when coming to Portugal. Okay.
I'm so happy we did. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What a lovely sort of serendipitous discovery. So you can thank the young lady for that, for taking you to that part of Portugal.
Indeed.
Wonderful. Okay. So what have we got the Leisure action here?
So this slide is fantastically historic. The first paper mill in Portugal is still productive. It still produces flour as well as paper, and it was established in 1411. It's powered by the waters of the Liz. So here you see one of the mill wheels, the water overflow, and there we are, the beautiful azulejo picture of the mill and the castle in the background.
Super dupes. Incredible. So you say it's still functional?
Yeah, it's absolutely superb.
Absolutely wonderful. Same in Tamar. There's a lovely working water wheel there as well. And you've got a resin collection.
Yeah,
Oh no, there is resin.
Not that kind of resin, Carl. Not that kind of resin.
He's through me there.
Yeah, there is a cannabis shop in the middle of Lyria, but it's not that kind of resin.
Every city's got one of these shops, hasn't it? These days, it's fascinating.
So, apart from being the first home for the first printing press, Lyria was and remains the administrative centre of the district, which became, first of all, a source of glass from the sand dunes. So, originally, the sand dunes between Lyria and the sea were pretty much unbroken, but they were encroaching on the agricultural land. So there was the glass industry, and then the king planted a huge pine forest to control the advance of the sand dunes. And this led to the district becoming the centre of a resin industry, which is still very active and in the form of plastics mostly now. But you still see resin being collected in these numerous pine forests. You can go down endless forest roads and tracks and see resin being collected all the time. And there you also see the Glass Museum in Marina, Grande.
So hold on a minute. Pine resin is used for making plastic with?
No, what I'm saying is they had an industry which used resin for all sorts of things that we now use plastic for. So it was a natural progression. When we started using plastic, it was very easy to sort of retool and reskill those industries. And the area in glass and still has glass factories, glass through resin to plastics.
Amazing. I wonder what the pine resin is used for these days, because anyone knows.
I've lost him.
No.
I don't know.
Look, we broke up a bit there. I don't know if Raphael is here already. I'm disconnecting the Mayo box outside or something.
I think that was me possibly dropping out.
Okay.
But anyway, what happened there? What were you saying? Yeah.
Just wondering about the use of pine resin in the modern age.
Yeah. Cosmetics certainly. I'm not sure what else. I haven't Googled it.
Well, this is why we have the doc on our Expats Portugal pub quiz, because he normally knows most things. He's extraordinary like that. Especially this morning, if you've just joined us, he's sat in his favourite cafe in Lyria, and he's giving you and Leona's a guide to the city this morning. Really loving it so far. I'll move on to the next slide. We've got the Glass Museum as well as the resin collection going on in the forest there. So what's this beautiful view?
Okay. This is the morning mist, the early morning mist from I think probably January this year, or maybe even December last year. Above the pine forests, with the hills behind Lyria and the wind turbines on the horizon. Just a beautiful photo taken by Leona one morning on our drive.
She got skills.
Sorry, I've just found out what they currently use pine resin for. So sealant, glue and varnish, rosin used to promote a better grip between objects, and Turks, of course. And stringed instruments use rosin for their bows.
Incredible.
And so did Leona, coincidentally.
That's quite amazing. Incredibly medicinal is the pine tree, including the Pinheiro manso, which you see a lot here. This is really wonderful. Loving the photography. Thank you, Leona, for that. Let's move on to the next slide. Oh, religious intolerance. What happened here? And is that a statue with a mask on? Extremely contemporary.
Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? So the old town that you see now and still survives because Portugal is one of the few countries in Europe that hasn't been subjected to aerial bombardment in the last couple of hundred years. So the old town grew up as a result of the Jewish population being forced to live outside the old walls. So the narrow streets became home to independent tradesmen, and still are, in fact, independent tradesmen, and fantastic and sometimes quirky eateries. One bar has a collection of bras hanging from the ceiling. And these streets survive virtually untouched. So the main square is named after this chap on the left, Francisco Rodrigues Lobo, a renowned Portuguese poet who was born of parents who were said to have converted from Judaism to Christianity at the time of the Inquisition in the 16th century.
Wow, incredible. Adorned there, con mascara, in the modern age. And is that in the local, that's a little plaza, piazza place at the bottom of town?
The Praça de Francisco Rodrigues Lobo.
It's great, that little square, isn't it? Really, really, really special part of Leiria, that.
Yeah, full of coffee shops and bars and a couple of banks and clothes shops. Yeah.
Great. It's a sort of European atmosphere that I think people from outside of Europe long for. To sit out and have a coffee in the sunshine there. I really loved it when we because we were stumbling around, wandering around Lyria. You go through the little lanes and alleys that we were spoken about before, and then suddenly you're out into the Praça there. Absolutely wonderful part of town. Okay, so it's looking like a British phone box there. What's happening?
Oh yeah, so it's been repurposed. Sorry, Leona's just given me something about pine resin, Portuguese pine resin history and opportunity. The Association of Distillers and Resin Explorers. So there you go, still a very active industry. Let's come back to the phone box. So the phone box has been repurposed as a street library. And so there's a collection of books in there which you can take and swap. And it just enables people sitting in the square to have a read while they have their cafe pasta donata.
Excellent. And some lovely nighttime views of Leiria there as well.
There's some of the narrow streets around the town. And here we are, some more. So the roads are home to various graffiti, as you can see. FOP police, whatever that means. And then there's rather philosophical offering on bottom left. For some reason, Brixton stenciled onto a window in the middle of Lyria, and the reflection of a passing ne'er-do-well as well. And then you've got this beautiful painting going round the corner of a house in one of those old streets.
Excellent. Yes, street art in full effect there as it is in most Portuguese cities. I think we've got a Mayo update. Have we got? No, we haven't got a Mayo update. When you look through the ring light at me like that, it's like an angel looking at me. I've got Angel at this end and the Angel of Lyria at the other end, Andy the Doc, and Leona as well. Beautiful photo, Leona. Jordinja says, my wife also called Leona. Don Jackson is tuned in this morning. Good morning. I've only been twice to Lyria and loved it. Very neat and tidy town with a mixed history. We will go again. We'll go again there. I will catch up with a few comments here. Maybe I'll move on to the next slide. I like the idea of the ne'er-do-well catching his reflection in the window there. Mr. Thomson, of course, talking about himself there. Catching up here with the earlier comments. EU law does not currently allow travel from outside the EU. A bit of a Brexit blow, that one. But I think that will change quite soon. Travel won't really take off, suggests Max, this summer anyway, while the PCR test is a requirement. Why do I say that? Because it can cost 960 quid for a family of 4 with 8 sectors to go through. Yes, that's going to change people's plans, isn't it? Carlos Victor, if you want to go to the Algarve, you better do Plymouth to Santander, 20 hours, no tolls in Spain, and much cheaper petrol, which I think is a matter of some contention between him and Max. The cheaper petrol won't pay for 400 kilometres on top of 600 kilometres. Men and routes, what are they like? We are returning to Portugal on the new Brittany Ferries boat Galicia, docking in Santander but will happily change to a ferry to Porto due to reducing the road miles, say Paul and Louise. Everyone's looking forward to that, aren't they? Bon dia question. I'm an American living in Dublin on a student visa since September, fully vaccinated. I want to come to Portugal end of May. Is it okay to come? Depends what your nationality is, doesn't it?
Well, no, I think the student visa, I may be wrong, but if it allows you free movement within the EU, and I think it does, then you will be okay to come because you are within the EU, you are legally resident in the EU, and therefore you can come to Portugal. I'm sure I'm right with that. It would be nice to check with the Portuguese consulate in Dublin, but I'm sure I'm right.
But of all the variables in that sentence, the student visa is the pivotal and powerful couple of words there. Okay, Beard is 22. Currently, as Spain is amber in its designation currently, there would be a 10-day isolation on return. So the Porto route would swerve this. Nice choice of words there. Gary Austin, how has your daughter handled the move, Doc? Because this is a difficult age to be in this situation, and he's known of teenagers who struggle with that. So yeah, how you may not want to talk on a personal level, but what tips would you give on managing that teenage transition into Portugal?
Give them a little more leeway than you might do otherwise. Listen to them, encourage them to talk, and just be sensitive to the possibility of them having a wobble. I mean, actually, to be honest, Leona's daughter's been fantastic. She's done really well. Yeah. She has made friends. She has now been on a couple of sleepovers since the relaxation of the lockdown. She's met friends in the park for picnics. They're very, very good.
And I'm thinking, if I was a teenager and I was moved to Leiria, I would be looking at other teenagers in Portugal thinking, these people are really cool. They meet up and they drink coffee together in cafes. And they seem to be hang out together in a very civilized manner compared to the skinheads I remember used to have to run away from in when I was growing up as a teenager in the UK. They're very civilized young people, aren't they?
They are absolutely. I've not seen or heard any sort of rowdy behaviour from Portuguese.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
Of course. Well, long may
they come out at night very late, but they're quiet, they're respectful. It's great.
Yeah, incredible. Even the school, but I was really impressed. Even in Lisbon. Oh, hold on, that's 7 coffees. I just knocked that up as well in the comments. Even in Lisbon, the kids are so polite when they get, coming out of school. Hundreds of them getting on the bus. They're full of youthful high spirits and so on, as you would hope. Yeah. But very respectful and jolly is my experience. The Galicia is a brand new boat. How about that? For those who love driving and World War II history, there's a U-boat sunk under the coast of Matosinhos, or off the coast of Matosinhos. The U-boat, just so you know, was the U-1277 there, probably dropping off gold before that happened in Portugal, in the strange trade of neutral Portugal in the Second World War. Galicia came into service last summer, says Bearders 22. We were supposed to be on it, but now transferred to this July. It has cost an arm and 4 legs of that journey. You're going to enjoy every moment of that trip, I think, Bearders. Just booked 3 weeks in Luge in the Algarve in February, followed by a few days in Évora. First part of our long-term plan to spend several months each year in Portugal. I look forward to drinking beer with you on that basis, Ian. It wasn't you dropping out, Andy. It was Carl. Oh, sorry about that. Pine resin used in disinfectant, aftershave, aromatherapy also. Carlos Vitor, if you're going to the Algarve, you still need to do the extra 600 kilometers from Leixões. And I know which side of the border I would rather be on. Lol, by that time, we'll be in the Algarve in 8 hours, says Carlos Victor. Still talking about routes there. I think we will come back to a few more comments in just a moment after you've carried on with your presentation, Doc. Have you got some hecklers in there?
No, we were. Leona was just talking to the member of staff here, asking if she always lived in Lyria and asking if she wants to come on the show. She was the one who said,
for 9 years.
Oh, she lived in Coimbra for a while, in 9 years.
All right, she might join us in a moment then. So what have we got here? It's more lovely view. mosey around here.
Did I mention the castle?
And then come back.
You might just have done, yes, earlier on.
I have a habit of mentioning the castle. Just another view. This is the River Liz running. What's the name of the song? It has a river running through it. It's fantastic. This river has beautiful walkways alongside it with parks, tennis courts, baseball courts,
Portuguese and English.
what do you call it? Exercise areas. Climbing walls, everything you could want, and about I think probably a 4 or 5 kilometre stretch of the river. It's beautiful.
Fabulous. Okay, moving on then. Some incredible, more public art. Or is that a climbing wall? I don't know.
No, that is the climbing wall on the right side there, free to use. Obviously, you want to make sure you've got some help and supervision. It's a bit quite challenging by the look of it.
And the smaller
and you've got to guess the weight of the aeroplane as well.
Right, so that's a real aeroplane. That's an old. I think it's probably a fighter bomber from the Portuguese Air Force. With a friend of ours holding it up because he's worried that it might fall over. And
Raphael Romeo here now, everybody.
Oh, hi, Raphael.
Being attacked by the dog. Well, being a friendly attack from the dog there. It's all going off here today in the studio and the cafe of Lyria this morning. So carry on, Doc, as you were.
And then on the bottom left. Oh, hold on.
Sorry.
Bottom left, you've got an international cross-country set of cross-country circuits. So you can see 4 circuits marked out there on the map with the various gradients and distances. That's from the car park on the bottom left side of the map. So yeah, lovely, fantastic facilities for keeping fit. There's even a dog exercise area, properly fenced with an assault course and a watering point and bags and bins to leave the inevitable mess. Yeah.
An assault course for dogs. So there's an exercise place as well.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing you see in Cruft, when they go on this, they go around the gym type thing.
Now, interesting. We've done very well. It's 39 minutes past the hour. You haven't really mentioned politics once, Doc, but this is the moment, isn't it? It's like people complain about tax in Portugal, but this is what you get. The F word: facilities after facilities after facilities. You're showing us an amazing city to live in. That the money for that has to come from somewhere, and perhaps it is.
They keep everything so beautifully neat. You see, all through lockdown, in the middle of winter, we saw gangs of workers maintaining the hedgerows and the grass and the flowers, just superb. So this is near that Praça Rodrigues Lobo, the fountain, just outside Santander Bank. Other banks are available, and
very good.
And I'm not a customer. And here on the right-hand side, we have the office of the regional office of my political party, Bloco Esquerda, with a banner about the response to the crisis, the need for support the health service and social services, etc.
Absolutely right. And then we're into the politics now for sure. Okay, but back for a moment to the 13th century. Why is that?
Yeah, well, Leiria, as I said before, it's the seat of the Bishop of Leiria, which is why it's a proper city. And this 13th century Franciscan Convent, so top right and far right, has some fantastic frescoes dating from the 15th century, beautiful artwork. And then Leiria is the seat of the Bishop of Leiria, one of whom was responsible for the investigation into the apparitions of Mary reported by the shepherd children in Fatima in 1917. Now on the bottom here, not pictures of Fatima, you can find those elsewhere, but on the bottom left is the Cathedral of Luria. and the bottom in the middle is the imposing church that dominates the other main hill in the city limits. And it has I haven't pictured it. It has a fantastic approach, which presumably pilgrims would come up huge staircase up from the riverside all the way up the hill to the front of the church there.
Absolutely lovely, fantastic.
A religious history. The Franciscan Convent is amazing.
Yeah, and the whole story behind the shepherd children is remarkable in its own way, which I'm sure we'll return to. You can't not be far away from that story in Portugal. One of the great things about Leiria, of course, is your proximity to the coast. Is this where you're popping off to after the show?
Well, I'm not sure. It's quite grey outside, but this was last week, 8th of May, in fact. So it was 3 days ago. It was half an hour to this beautiful beach. It was blazing hot, really gorgeous place, and there's a string of beaches that go north from Nazaré, San Pedro de Mol, Lyria, a couple of others. Pedregal, go right up to Pedregal in the north with the freshwater lagoon just nearby.
It sounded like a good restaurant there now, Doc. It sounds like a Greek restaurant. Now, I've noticed this in Portugal. Whenever the staff in cafes are putting away the cups and saucers from the coffee, it's never done quietly. It's like it's almost like a ritualistic thing, isn't it? Have you noticed that?
It is ritualistic, I'm sure.
Okay. All right. But what a beautiful coastline you're enjoying there in Leiria as well. Okay, a bit more of an overview here.
Yeah, so here we are, Leiria, population around 50,000 within the town, it's the city itself, and a municipality with only 130,000. Seriously punching above its weight, supporting 2 theatres, a large shopping centre, a cinema, a twice-weekly market, a bowling alley, a football team fighting for promotion from the 3rd division at the moment. The stadium built for the 2004 UEFA finals, also hosts friendly internationals, probably aiding the occasional sighting of English graffiti. The Sporting Union of Lyria, the company that runs the football club, also lists billiards, basketball, rugby, men and women's, camping and paintball among its activities. And I've already mentioned the school. And so the stadium, bottom left, as you can see there at night, and then some art. We have art galleries and museums, but this art was just displayed in the local small Galleria de Lis, which is a lovely little shopping centre between us and the river, 2 minutes away. A fantastic chocolate shop in there, as well as numerous other.
I heard that, Leona. I heard that. Don't forget the chocolate shop.
We have a spa here. In fact, we have 2 spas in Lyria. Sorry, spa as in shop rather than place to get practice. But we have Intermarché, Continent, Pingo Doce, Aldi, Lidl, all within very easy striking distance. There's also a polytechnic and a large hospital, so it's amazing for a town.
It is remarkable. Yeah, I mean, with 50,000 people, that's a lot of facilities, isn't it?
Yeah,
incredible. And this is our final slide. Is this a typical day out for you?
Just in case I forgot to mention the castle, that's actually with its Christmas lights on. And then of course the beer and toaster. Although we've converted since we took this photo last year, we've converted from Sagres to Superboc, and I'm sure John.
Yeah. Okay, but that's if you like your carbohydrates, that's the way forward, isn't it? A nice toasty mixture with a bottle of beer there, and in terms of cost for that, you're probably looking at what, €3 tops.
Okay, so maximum. We went out the other day. We had, what did we have? We had a coffee, a toaster, a beer, and a pastry. That was the 2 of us. it cost us €9 and something.
Very good. Get over here as soon as you medically or safely can, everybody, and pump some money into the Portuguese economy in exactly that way as Andy and Leona are doing their very best to do each and every day, I think, in Leiria. What a fantastic presentation. You're right for a few more minutes to answer a few specific questions?
Loads. I just want to share two other bits. So let me get this. So one is, there we go, the visit the Villa Portela. So these are within the. There we go. So that's a fantastic house called the Villa Portela, which is a 19th century villa. Beautiful, beautiful place with the huge grounds. Now owned by the municipality. And then there was also this place, which is hold on. Leona's asking if you've got the. Leona's asking if you've got the picture of the cafe. But this is right in the middle of Lyria. So this is the built-up environment, if you like, right in the middle of Lyria. This lovely villa with beautiful grounds and a swimming pool at the back. The sort of place, if you've got probably, I would expect you wouldn't really get much change out of $500,000. But in the UK, you'd pay way over $1 million. You'd probably pay over $1 million in Lisbon for that. So it's a gorgeous building.
Excellent. Well, a very good all-round presentation here. Every aspect of life covered. This is the very unassuming cafe in which Andy and Leona are sat at the moment. So what's it called?
It's called the Café Dallas.
Café Dallas. Shout out to all the crew.
It's in Marrakech.
Marrakech, did you say?
Marrakech. Marrazes. Yeah.
Very good. And all the coffees we've heard being made, they weren't all for you, were they?
Oh no, only 8 of them. Now I'm on my third, so I'll be buzzing for the rest of the morning.
Okay, so we've got a few comments, questions. Portuguese resin is used in rubber products, tires, depilatory waxes. We might be talking about that on the Man Cave, actually, depilatory waxes, this Friday. It keeps coming round, the manscaping thing. Paints, the pharmaceutical industry, glues and adhesives, cosmetics, varnishes, and the food industry. Is there anything that isn't made or harvested in this country? It's quite extraordinary, isn't it?
It's fantastic. You see. So there's lots and lots of light industry within and around Lyria, and there's you're always seeing lorries from places as far afield as Scandinavia and Eastern Europe, which are coming to collect products to take out of Lyria. It's a fantastic place, and of course you have all the incidental traffic, but not particularly heavy, and industrial disputes. So on the May Day demonstration, which we had even in this small town in Portugal, a march and rally, there were banners from various workplaces in dispute. The natural product of industry, but a fantastic economy, local economy nonetheless.
All right, and I think this is quite a good demonstration, actually, of what the question is that is being asked here. Jordinja, after the presentation, question what is the internet speed like in Leiria? It's held up well for us today, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually working off my mobile at the moment, which is Vodafone, but in the flat we're getting fairly good 4G. Quite fast, quite reliable.
Yeah, well served in the city there, as is the case in most Portuguese cities. But as our man Miguel said, each of the three major broadband providers will have a dominance somewhere or other. So it's worth checking that out and asking an independent professional on that. Just don't take their word for it, because they'll just want to sell you the.
We chose Vodafone because in Lyria, because we went on a couple of the coverage sites, and Vodafone certainly has the dominance in Lyria.
There you go. So it's easy to find out as well. Thanks, Carl. So, Talila, I will be visiting with my husband early next month. We've got our visas issued, excellent, and vaccinated. We'll check out places in these areas. So Lyria, definitely. Tamar definitely is worth a visit, and so is Coimbra. But we can see where the doc's heart lies for sure. Jordinger loved those. Whoa, look at the engines on that aeroplane earlier on. This is a good question from Rui Costa. Rui, good morning to you. Hello, good morning, everyone. Out of curiosity, there is support for reduced mobility so that we can all visit. Go on.
So I am in a wheelchair for anything more than 20 yards, 20 meters for the Americans. And although you come across some mismatched drop curbs and some challenging steps into shops, for the most part, it's very, very well served. It's not, although I've showed you a great hill at the castle, the majority of the city is on the flat, the city centre is flat. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, and I think that the direction of travel, sort of pardon the pun, is good as well, because whenever you see roads being remade, and lots are, you do get to see the drop curbs and a little bit more sensitivity and a nice flat sidewalk as well, don't you?
And the buses all have wheelchair access. The local buses all have wheelchair access as well.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you for that, Rui. This is better than watching Acorn Antiques there because of all the visitors coming in at both ends here. I mean, it's been a busy old show this morning. I need a coffee now, I think. Lots of lovely comments and questions. Let's go to them. One of my favourite shops in the old town is Cestaria Fonseca, which is an old-style hat and wickerware shop. If you need a hat, a basket, a chair, or anything else woven, this is the place. Fantastic. I need a new wig. That's kind of woven, isn't it? San Martino de Porto. Do you include that in your range of beaches? You do, okay, of course you do. Do they have many breakages?
I didn't.
Do they have many breakages? They're checking the cups. No, I think Portuguese cups are made of an indestructible porcelain. Does Lyria have? I think we're into double figures on the coffees. Does Lyria have some good hotels? Any recommendations? Take a detour back.
So we haven't used any, but there are 3 or 4 fairly large hotels. There's a motel that starts from €39 a night, which is brand new between here and the motorway. So yeah.
And I noticed a lot of the motels have the Tesla points as well outside, if that's what you're driving. Leiria looks amazing. You're selling it to me. Must visit. Are you on a backhander from the camera yet?
Well, I'm not. No, I should be, shouldn't I? I mean, I'm happy to give anyone a quick personal tour if they want. But it's an easy place to get around and find. It's
Terrible Painter. There's a great YouTube name. You can Google Map hotels and it will show you ratings and pictures of all the hotels. Wonderful thing, the old internet. Toshtamishta, I would do a dozen of those, says Joel. I mean, Mr. Toshtamishta is a name that I think is a great name for a stage name for somebody. Obviously, we have to give that to Joel, don't you? He is Mr. Toshtamishta himself. Did I see a Sagrush? I thought Andy was a Superbot man. Well, they know you so well, Andy. He's converted.
It's an old photo, pre-conversion. Yeah.
Which will be brought out to shame him in due course.
A bit like the Inquisition conversion of the Jews to Christianity.
What is it? Sagrush or Superbok? Terrible Painter. How is the area for biking or all car dependence? How is the transportation with buses? Public transport then?
Great place for biking. Lots of people on bikes. The buses is a great local network based in Lyria with a bus station in the middle of Lyria. You can't miss it. It's fantastic.
There you go. There's another pingo or a mare delay. He can recognise the coffee from the noise being made. Yummy. Sopa, toshtamishta para almoça. Can't wait. Yeah, we are driving people mad this morning as well. Not long now. Go on, Doc.
The other thing, Sean's got a place between Marina, Grande and Coast. Nice. So what was I going to say? Yeah, so if you haven't got a car, there is a train station that serves Lyria just on the outskirts, and you get to it from either Coimbra on the north or Lisbon. So.
There you go. Major rail connection as well. The Portuguese railways are superb. Thanks, Doc and Cole. Useful info about the internet. If anywhere continues, your danger knows how to make ceramics well enough to be virtually indestructible. It will be Portugal, of course it will. And a final comment here for now. Sounds like there's a bar fight going on with someone. It's the local Goodfellas Gangsters Cafe, isn't it? And this is all going on at the back there. And Doc sits out at the front. You know.
Can I just give an update, Carl? Can I give an update on the I think I'll answer that question. Can I give an update on the SNS, the access for healthcare?
Yes, you can. It's very important. Yes, please do.
So we had to get intervention from the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, who their healthcare specialist in the embassy in Madrid sent us some documents which prove that we have access without an S1. You do not need to have an S1 as long as you were resident and registered with the SNS before 31st December last year. Then you have a right of access, and we've got a copy of those documents with the relevant bit highlighted. I'm happy to get those put on GMP in the forum.
That's right.
And if anyone else has got issues, then let me know.
How helpful is this man? I mean, he's with us for his residencies on the. That's a medical term, isn't it? Being a resident, but he is a resident on the Good Morning Portugal. Ask anything about Portugal Wednesdays, where you can catch up with the doc again. An absolute mine of information. Is it a mind of information or a mine of information? Probably
Mine,
both.
M-I-N-E. But please don't come with any drilling rigs onto my skull.
No fracking here.
No brain injury.
Yeah. But he's absolutely amazing. What a fantastic presentation you offered today. I think you dealt number 12. I think you dealt with the buses. Public transportation, very good, Mary Marvin, and you needn't worry in Portugal in the cities about public transport. Good value as well. Enjoyed the presentation, Doc. Off to do some exam invigilating. I'm fed up with watching paint dry at home, so might as well get paid for doing the same. Very good, Bearders. Thanks for your interventions this morning. Paul had a phone call yesterday from our local Portuguese health centre, calling him for his COVID vaccination. So that sounds like that's starting to happen as well for the expats in Portugal. Great job, Doc and Leona. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think Leona's coming to say goodbye as well.
Ciao, Leona. Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now. Thanks, folks. I'll tell you what, get another round of coffees and tosta mistas and super box and send me the bill. Or send Jerry the bill. All right. See you later. Ciao. See you. Bye for now. And we will see Doc tonight, of course, on the Wine Club. See you later, Doc. Bye-bye. There he goes. There's the... Oh, it's all suddenly gone quiet, isn't it? Can someone come in here? Let's just have the kids coming in, rushing in now just to keep that vibe going. I need to go out and see Raphael from Mayo in a moment and oversee this installation here for Mayo. Mayo we're going with here in... just outside Castelo Branco, Caldas de Reina, what am I talking about? And yes, so tonight, talking of the wine club, we are looking at a Marquis De Marialva. It's called the Blanc de Noir. I think it's like a fizz. I can't call it a champagne. Espumant, made from dark grapes, made from the red grapes tonight, will be led in that tasting by Rachel and Frank. Looking forward to that. Fizz does the biz for me. He's often quite a lot of fun on the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club in the evenings when we start drinking fizz. In fact, I'll see if I can bring up a picture of that on the screen for you. So if you do want to, if you're in Portugal and you want to rush out and get yourself one of those, do go for the, it's in a lovely bottle, looks like champagne, and it is the Marquis de Marialva, which is giving me a little bit of difficulty sharing on the screen now, but I'm going to persist. Maybe before, oh, here we go, in my photos. No, it's in the dark there. Oh no, is it coming? Hello, come on, you can do this. We may have to return to that. Oh no! Why, when you suddenly switch off a screen, does it just show up? It just flashes before you subliminally. Here we go. We can do it for you finally now. This is the wine for this evening. There you go. Wine 44 on the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club. 44 wines we've tried and fizzes and rosé, reds, whites and rosés. Marquis De Marialva Barga grape from the Bairrada region where I've just come from. The Blanc de Noir, as I say, red grapes making a beautiful fizz tonight. So we will be looking forward to trying that after the webinar this evening, which is a special one. And anyone who's thinking of starting a business in Portugal probably needs to be along to this tonight with our friend Daniel Reis of Reis and Pelicano. Everything you need to know about starting a business in Portugal. He is from the law firm. Daniel's from the law firm Reis and Pelicano, the eponymously named. From 7:30 to 9, you do need to RSVP. And if you are a premium member of Expats Portugal, you will get VIP treatment. Because of the membership you pay, and we appreciate that. And that's one of the perks you get, is being pushed to the front of a queue as though it were a Swiss nightclub. Your name is on the list, come in. And you can find out everything you need to know about starting a business in Portugal with Daniel tonight from 7:30 and onwards to 9. And we do tend to go into a bit of a social chat as well in the evenings after the webinar. And then I pop off just before 9 to go to the wine club. So join us for either or both of those this evening. Something I forgot to do a couple of days ago was wish this man, Thomas Malloy, a very happy birthday. Parabéns a você to Thomas, one of our Ask Our Expats team over there in the Ribatejo, Santarém area. Hope you had a fabulous day a couple of days ago. And sorry I wasn't more on the ball. I'm wishing you a beautiful day on the very day of your birthday, Thomas. Looking forward to chatting to you again in our Ask Our Expats webinars. They're a lot of fun. As well as very informative, as it has been today with Andy the Doc. We will see you tomorrow, of course, if you don't join us tonight on the webinar or the wine club. And tomorrow it is the wonderful return of Filomena Pascal. She will be here tomorrow for another Filomena Friday. So thank you so much for joining us on this very exciting and atmospheric, let's call it atmospheric, energetic show this morning with a beautiful guide to Leiria from the Doc and Leona. We'll see you again and wish you a beautiful day today. Teja.